McEwen will be talking Davenport football for the next half hour. We had a very special guest, Jalen Robinson, outstanding defensive player for the Panthers, will join us on the program. We'll talk a little bit about Saturday's broadcast or Saturday's game. Davenport fell in the home opener of the season, 31-14 to Truman State back at the farm. And then later on in the show, we'll talk about the first road game of the season as Davenport goes on the road to Canton, Ohio, to take on Walsh University this Saturday. We'll have the broadcast on the Davenport Athletics Network and, of course, on 104.9. So if you're watching us live, then enjoy it and come back every Tuesday night at 7 o'clock for this. And if you're listening to our rebroadcast on Saturday morning, stay with us. We'll just take it right up to the game broadcast from Canton, Ohio. But we do welcome Coach coming in right now and talk a little bit about the game and the 31-14 loss. Coach, I've heard you say this as well as other coaches through the years. It's pretty simple game sometimes. If one team can rush the football and the other can't, the team that rushes the football is probably going to win.
Yeah, it's something that you've been around this game a long time, and Truman going in, I talked to my defensive staff and our staff as a whole. We knew going in that they were going to definitely run the football on us, and we had to stop it. The two games this spring with Gannon showed the ability to run the ball on us, and we knew that this was going to be something that when you play against a traditional power like this, a team that just played in the GOVC championship and the year before, finished 11-2, and is a power, they're going to go after you. They're a well-coached team, and they have pride, and they went after us, and they hit us on the chin, and my guys know that we got to get better, and hats off to them. They took it to us, and we struggled up front on both sides of the ball, and my guys know in order to be an effective Division II power, you have got to be good up front on both sides of the ball, and we took a lesson. We're very humbled by our experience, and I've always said that I want to be the best. I do, and I got a great administration, and they back me 100% on scheduling and how I want to go out and play big games. And we played some openers in the past where obviously there were good openers, but I like to have tough openers because we go into an incredible conference in the GLIAC, and you got to be tested. And we were 14-21 in the fourth quarter, and we had a chance, and we missed a read up the sideline for an easy touchdown that would tie that game up. And you can't miss those things, and we missed it, and it was a fight, man. And the 31-14 score is not indicative of how truly close that game was for us, because the defense actually, obviously, after the first drive, they picked it up and played a lot better. But they ran the ball well on us.
I was going to point that same thing out to you. Despite that rushing disparity, which pretty much held true through the game, as you said, it was a 7-point game in the fourth quarter where one play, and you said just one play that just slipped up, and you would have had it deadlocked, and then the pressure would have been on the visitors.
Yeah, with that being said, I still have to give credit where it's due. We were down 7, and we had a guy wide open down the sideline, and we missed him. But with that even being said, I really felt like Truman was in control, okay? We made it tough for the most part, but they were still, for the most part, in control.
In the spring, we saw DeAndre Ford and Amante Phillips have a great connection offensively that led to some big plays. Well, on Saturday, Ford and Roy Livingstone had that good connection going for big plays. 4 times they connected for 75 yards and both of the touchdowns, and that looked like a nice tandem working for you.
Well, if you think about this now, when you date back to the 2 games in the spring, you had Cody Blankenberg. He had 8 or 9 catches in a game where he was a MVP.
Journey Sloan had a big game.
Journey Sloan had a big game, and Amante had a big game. Now all of a sudden you got a guy like Roy Livingstone that has a huge game. We have the weapons. We just got to put it together. I'm very optimistic on our season and what we need to do. And obviously you, as close to the program as you are, there's 4 names I just gave you. And I still left out Seth Octa, Keyshawn Richards, and J.R. Harden. Miles Goldberg. So we've got some weapons there, and that's just offense. So we just played a very class, team in Truman. And I told my boys we got 10 of them left, but now we go on the road for 4 weeks. It doesn't get any easier. We go on the road for 4 weeks, and we got to get this thing going.
You mentioned the running backs, Keyshawn, Phillips, and Seth Octa. With that running game struggles, you mentioned the offensive line. Does some of that at all fall on the running backs too, or was it just simply a case of they never had a shot really to get going?
They never had a shot. What we saw up front, I'm just going to tell you, is that we got to get better up front. My guys did not execute what we needed to do. We got to coach them up better. Our guys got to come out and execute better. And we've got, I feel like we have people, there. We just got to get the right guys in the right position, because I've got 3 really good running backs, and you saw 2 of them in the spring. And Seth was hurt, and Seth is the number 1 guy. Okay, so with that being said, we have a stable of running backs. We just got to get the guys up front going in the right direction and make things happen for us offensively.
Defensively, you mentioned for opening drive. After that, they seemed to get better and a little bit stronger. And Jalen Robinson, who will be joining us in the program a little bit later, 11 tackles. Shaq Floyd had 9, and Giovanni Kaiser had 7, including a tackle for loss. I was impressed with Kaiser. He seemed to be very active for you defensively.
Gio is a young man he has a tremendous attitude, personality, and this team loves him, and he's got a high motor, and I'm glad that we've got him for a few more years. He's going to be an impact player in the GLIAC. Okay, keep your eye on him. He's going to do some big things for us. And then obviously, J-Rob played well. That's one of our guys. That he was our defensive MVP last year, and he hates to lose, man. This guy's a winner, and I'm glad I have him on my team. And a lot of times when you have a guy that's your MVP from the year before, sometimes those guys come into the next season and they're not as tough as they were the next year. Oh, my goodness. He came in and he stepped up, but now he's got to get the rest of his teammates to play the way that he does with the passion and intensity. And if we can get that, we're going to be solid for the remainder of the year.
In the DB side of it, we saw a couple near interceptions, but not quite, deflection here or there. And the difference between getting that pick and not is so minute, Coach. How do you coach that up when they're close to an interception but not quite getting it?
Well, we don't. One thing we don't coach second place. We don't coach close. We got to make plays. Even when we're in practice and the guy makes a great play in the end zone or something, we are on top of them and say you got to make that play. This conference is too tough to make second place mistakes. You've got to be a champion every time that you make plays. And my secondary right now, guys, I'm just going to tell you, it doesn't matter. Those guys in my secondary, they're good football players. They get after you. Those guys are well coached, and they do a really good job. We got to get it done up front. It's got to be with my defensive line and my offensive line. If we don't get it done up front, you know what? It's going to be a long year. I don't care how good you are with your skilled kids. It doesn't matter. Your defensive line and offensive line, that's who gets it done.
We've heard your reactions to the loss Saturday. How did the team handle it? What do you hear from them, and especially your team leaders after Saturday?
Well, that was interesting that you asked that, because that's one of the things that coaches look for in a loss. And my guys aren't happy. They're not happy at all. Everyone's on edge, and that's the way that, and quite honestly, I like it that way, because who likes to lose, and the type of kids that we recruit, the type of people we bring in, we want to win, and we want to win at a high rate. And that stuff about being a young program, that stuff's over. I don't care nothing about that. One thing about winning championships, you win one, you win another one. So it's been a while for me, and our kids know that, and that's what we talk about. And it wasn't a championship effort on Saturday. Credit has to go where it's due. I just thought that we left some things out there, and we just got to coach them up better.
All right, in just a minute, we're going to have Jalen Robinson join us. Tell us a little bit about this young man and what he means to the program. athletically and academically, as he's been all GLIAC, all academic a couple times already.
You know, that right there says it best. You know, at the end of the day, sometimes we all, as fans and parents and everything, we get caught up into the wins and losses. But here we talk about a guy that is an academic all-conference guy. He's the MVP of our defense. He's young. I believe that you build programs through high school kids. You build them through high school kids. I love my transfers, don't get me wrong. But you build your program and championships through high school kids, and he's one of them. We brought this young man in, and, you know, to become an MVP as a sophomore in your defense and, you know, to have your teammates, you know, hold him in high regards. And he knows the expectations. He understands. And he's been amazing for us to go out and do what he did that first game. He knows that he has to walk a certain way, talk a certain way. He's got to be a leader for us. When it comes to Davenport University, he understands pride, and he comes from a really good high school program as well.
Oak Park.
Oak Park, man, and he's been coached by a legend over there. So, and he's got phenomenal parents. You know, so we're really proud of him, but he knows now that he's got to get the rest of the guys on his defense and this team, because he's a team leader, that play the same way that he does.
All right, Coach, we'll have you back in just a minute to talk about Walsh, but we're going to take a timeout. Going to come back with Jalen Robinson, the defensive player for the Davenport Panthers, so stay with us. You are watching and listening to the Davenport Coaches Show live from Uccello's in Caledonia on the Davenport Athletics Network and Magic 104.9.
West Michigan home buyers, if you're considering lenders, please contact Mario Flores at 231-638-0200 at Van Dyke Mortgage on the Lakeshore. It's a wonderful time to be in the market for a mortgage when you choose Van Dyke Mortgage on the Lakeshore. Van Dyke's loan experts know how to help you prepare and help you get approved. Don't wait for the market to be perfect. Start your planning with Mario Flores, branch manager at Van Dyke Mortgage on the Lakeshore.
Mario Flores, NMLS number 135862. Van Dyke Mortgage Corporation, Corp. NMLS number 3035. 231-638-0200. MarioFlores.VanDykeMortgage.com. Van Dyke Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
And we continue with the Davenport Football Coaches Show live from Uccello's in Caledonia. We're here every Tuesday night at 7. If you're watching us and listening to us on Facebook or YouTube or wherever you're watching, tune in, make that part of your Tuesday night tradition. If you're listening to our rebroadcast, we're taking you right up to the start of Saturday's game against Walsh University. Bill Rowan and I will have the broadcast about 11:55 or so here on the Dan and Magic 104.9. But now we're pleased to welcome our special guest, Jalen Robinson, a junior from Detroit, went to Oak Park High School, had a terrific 2019 when he was, as Sparky mentioned, the defensive MVP of the team. Jalen, we want to take you back to your freshman year, first of all, and the adjustments you made coming out of Oak Park High School. When you first got to college ball here at Davenport, what struck you right away is this is a little different than high school ball?
Well, honestly, I got struck the first day. We had a conditioning test, and I really wasn't ready for it. So after that, really that same day, I had to make my mind up, like, okay, is this really what I want to do? And so really the biggest thing for me was the speed of the game. High school is it's slower, and college is a lot sped up, and you have to know what you're doing out there.
Coach mentioned you come from a strong program at Oak Park High School. Tell us about your high school coach and what he meant to you, not only as a player but as a person.
I was coached by Greg Carter at Oak Park High School. He meant a lot to me. He was older, but he was a role model for me, and he helped me a lot with a lot of things on and off the field.
Was there a special teacher in high school? You know, even if it had nothing to do with sports, it seems everybody has one special teacher somewhere along the line that you connect with, and they said that person really helped me form who I am today.
Well, it's a football coach. He was actually a substitute teacher, and he was a football coach as well. I just talked to him actually yesterday, I believe.
Who is that?
His name is Coach Friday. He had a big impact on my life as well.
Is he still at Oak Park?
No, sir.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, good. Again, then you're a sport management major. Jalen, what are you hoping to do with that degree once you finish your Davenport days?
I get this question a lot. I'm still not decided yet. I know that there's a lot I can do with my degree, but I'm still not really decided yet.
Would you, whatever you do with it, do you want to stay in here in West Michigan? Do you want to go back to the east side of the state, or are you willing to go anywhere in the country for the right job?
Honestly, for the right job, I'll go anywhere in the country. But I would like to say that I would like to be close to my parents still.
You are close to your family. They're
Yeah.
able to come see you play. Really now, just about every game. Do you make the long trip to the UP?
Yeah. No, they didn't make that one. But
Okay.
they usually make every other game. Yep.
Well, this year, again, we've got the home games. They're going to be down in Canton Saturday?
Yeah, I believe so.
Well, that'd be great. Who else? Is there anybody else in your family besides your parents that you know that you were especially close to, that a big part of forming you?
My brothers. I have 3 older brothers. I'm the youngest of 4.
Oh, my goodness. You got whooped on all the time.
Yep.
What did you learn from your brothers athletically?
Actually, I have 2 brothers. Well, I have 2 of them. They were athletes. One of my brothers, he ran track in high school. He's a state champion at Oak Park. But really, I'm really like the biggest athlete in the family, honestly.
Yeah, certainly you're playing here Division II football, and you had a terrific game against Grand Valley in 2019. 10 tackles and a forced fumble against that solid program. That had if you hadn't already thought, I've arrived, at that point I have to think you thought, I am here. Didn't you?
Yeah.
What do you think of the GLIAC competition? What have you learned about that when you go against the Ferrises and Grand Valleys on a regular basis?
I've learned that you have to be prepared. You can't just be talking the talk. You have to actually walk the walk.
Sparky talked a little bit about leadership, and you're one of the leaders on the team. What did you learn about leadership compared to, let's say, when you were a freshman and sophomore? Now you're a junior, and you're going to be a senior next year. How have your views changed on leadership as far as what you're supposed to offer to your teammates?
Well, actually, leadership, that has been a struggle for me in the past because actually most people don't know this. I may be a junior, but I'm still only 20 years old. So I have to gather the team, which consists of like a lot of older guys. So that's one thing that.
So how old were you when you graduated from high school?
17.
You were just 17.
Yeah, I played my true freshman year at 17 here.
Oh my goodness!
Yep.
At 17. So when you were varsity, at what level of high school at Oak Park?
I was 16 my senior year at Oak Park.
Wow. What was your first year of varsity ball at Oak Park?
It was my
sophomore.
Sophomore, yep.
And you were just then what? 14 playing varsity football as a sophomore. Yeah. What was that like? That had to be a little intimidating, even for a good athlete like yourself.
Well, I'll say I've been used to it because I'm used to being like hanging around like older people than me.
Okay. Yep. That's been your whole life, hasn't it?
Yep.
Who are your closest friends on the team right now? I know you got a lot of guys. You don't want to leave anybody out.
But it's honestly a lot. I don't want to really leave anybody out.
That's fine. Tell me what you do away from football, away from school. What do you do for your own personal enjoyment?
I like video games. I like learning about cars. I'm into music.
What kind of music?
I'm actually a musician as well.
What do you play?
Bass guitar and a keyboard.
Have you ever been in any band, any type of band?
Yeah.
Okay. When?
I'm in a church band.
Oh, are you?
Yep.
Okay. Back home or?
Yeah.
All right. So great. You get a chance to play and show your talents and your blessings, right, at the same time. All right. Let's talk to you one final thing, Jalen, about the loss Saturday. What you and your teammates were saying and how you turned things around this week, hopefully.
We're just ready to come out and show what we're really made of. I feel like we were prepared for the game, but I don't know. Things got away from us in the second half. We were right there in the fourth quarter, and things happened to get away from us. But I feel like we're ready to go for the next week, and we know it's a long season. We still have a long ways to go. We still have 10 more games in the regular season still. So
sure do, long way to go.
We're ready to roll.
All right. Jalen, great to have you here as always. Thanks for coming over, and go enjoy some more of that great Uccello's food, okay?
Yep, thank you.
Jalen Robinson, our special guest. We'll take a short timeout, and Coach Sparky McEwen will join us once again. We'll talk about this coming opponent, the Walsh Cavaliers from Canton, Ohio, here on the Coaches Show from Uccello's in Caledonia.
Van Dyke Mortgage on the Lake Shore's commitment to finding the right home loan for you is second to none. The experienced licensed team at Van Dyke on the Lakeshore will work hard to give you a smooth and timely mortgage process from application to closing. Mario Flores, branch manager, Van Dyke Mortgage on the Lakeshore, has access to a full range of mortgage products so that you get the right loan with a great rate, the terms you're looking for, and costs to meet your unique needs. Call Mario Flores at 231-638-0200 today and experience the Van Dyke Mortgage difference.
Mario Flores, NMLS 135862, Van Dyke Mortgage Corporation, Corp NMLS 3035, 231-638-0200, marioflores.vandykemortgage.com. Van Dyke Mortgage is an equal housing lender, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
And we continue with the Davenport Football Coaches Show from Uccello's in Caledonia. Nice visiting with Jalen Robinson. We're back with the head coach, Sparky McEwen, now as we look ahead to this Saturday. And that's one of really the good things about football, Sparky, is that even when a loss comes, even if you're really disappointed, there's not any time to wallow in it, because you've got to turn around right away and start looking to the next opponent because that's what's up on the schedule.
Yeah, it's one of those deals where, part of your culture, it's got to be understood that you got to build a winning culture. But outside of that, you got to build a culture that understands sportsmanship and moving on. When it's over, it's over. I would be lying to you if I didn't tell you that right now I'm still, a little disappointed. But it's part of our business. You're going to only have one winner and one loser. And, right now our guys understand. Our guys understand when they look at our coaches. Each and every one of my coaches on that staff, they understand that they're teachers, and we got to learn from things. And we'll take this as a learning lesson. And I probably take this the hardest of all my coaches, and I think that's why I've lasted this long in the profession, because, in my mind, it's one way, and it's to be a winner. Whether it's in the classroom, whether it's on the field, whether it's in life, whether it's in business. I don't care. We got to win. So it's contagious. Our boys understand it, and we just got to get everybody on the same page, and we got to do it fast.
Up this Saturday, the Walsh Cavaliers, they opened up with a win at West Liberty, 27-6. I don't know much about the West Liberty program, but you talked about turning around that rushing program. Well, there's another challenge ahead in terms of Walsh. They held West Liberty to -3 yards rushing for the entire game. That's a pretty impressive total under any circumstance.
Yeah, going against, Walsh right now, it's a well-coached team, and he's come in there and he's done a really good job of turning it around, and they recruit in a similar fashion as ourselves. They're gonna build it through the high school kids, but they'll bring in some guys as transfers to bridge the gap. Where they feel like they're a little weak or something like that. So to hold a team to -4 yards, it says a lot about what's going on there with talent and with coaching. Our guys know that the opponent that we have this week, defensively, they're a very stout group. They do some different things in the secondary that's going to pose problems for you. Their D-line, they're very stout, to give up -4 yards. Says a lot about them. They got a very good group of solid linebackers in there. And the one thing that jumps off the film right away to me is the fact that you can tell that they're a smart team. These coaches are able to do some different things scheme-wise that presents problems. So, we've been working hard, since, the loss. And in hopes that we could come up with something to give our kids a fair shot at being successful on Saturday.
You mentioned in the first segment how that one play that you guys missed in the second half could have really turned things around. Walsh was on the other side of that. They recovered 2 fumbles, and in the second quarter they were leading 10-0, and West Liberty was driving all the way down inside the 10-yard line. Walsh intercepted and ran it back 97 yards for a touchdown. That made it 17-0 instead of 10-7. Boy, what an incredible swing of just one play, and that's what happens with one play, right?
Well, the thing that was impressive at that point is, you could see that, these players that they have, they play with motors, and, right then and there, the game was won, but they could have very easily, kind of taken things for granted, and they didn't. They made a great call, and the kid made a great play, stepped in it, in front of it and, made a play to take it a distance.
Quarterback Jeremy Hodge, not off the eye-popping numbers, 9 out of 22, 131 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions, but I guess when you're controlling the line of scrimmage, you want a quarterback who's going to play it, keep things under the vest and not make any big mistakes, right?
Well, he's a Division I transfer, and he's going to have a huge year. He's going to continue to learn their system, and he's extremely athletic, and he has a really good arm. So, our guys know they're going to have their hands full, and he's only going to be better this second game, and it's going to be their home opener, and our defense knows. Our defense knows what they're going to be facing in this opponent. Our offense knows what we're going to be facing, and we got our hands full, but we just got to go down and make sure we look out for each other, worry about us, try to play assignment football, and then make the best team win.
What about their running backs? I know you faced, I tell you what, that Schrader, you talked to me about him last Tuesday.
I told you.
Holy cow, that guy, it took off in 3 guys to bring that guy down to the turf.
Yeah, he was, he had a lot of Seth, Octa, and Keyshawn and Jay Harden in one. He was the 3 of those guys in one. He's a big back, shifty, power, fast. He had it all, so. You got to wrap people up like that. You got to rally to the ball. You got to play assignment football. You got to, make sure everyone's setting their fits, getting their fits. And
all right, Coach, give me 2 or 3 keys to the game Saturday as you sit right now as we talk on Tuesday night.
Well, it's not coach talk, but it's going to come down to both teams' offense and defensive lines. We got outplayed on both sides of the ball, offensively and defensively on the lines. We cannot go in and think that you can win a football game and only rush for 42 yards, okay? Or give up 200-plus yards rushing, So right now our guys are working hard, coaching and playing in regards to the discipline and making sure that, we're taking care of our assignments. That's the most important things to us right now. We've got to do our job. Number one, do your job, be disciplined, and you got to be a man in this game. You got to step up, and it's a tough game, and it's for tough people. So our guys had a valuable lesson there, and let's hope that we've learned from that.
Davenport and Walsh, Saturday at 12 noon. I want to thank our production assistants tonight, Awesome Abby and Dynamite Drew, who did a great job getting us on and trying to make us look good. We'll do our best. We'll be back here next Tuesday night. So that wraps things up for tonight's Davenport Coaches Show from Uccello's in Caledonia. If you're watching us live, hey, join us again next Tuesday, 7 for our next show. And if you're listening to our rebroadcast on Magic 104.9, Davenport football is next with the Panthers taking on the Walsh Cavaliers. Go Panthers.